And we are back from the break. We said that we were going to dive into it, and so we are. Sophie, is it possible to control who you like?
Oh, I mean, I don't think so, actually.
No, no, I agree. I agree. Why do you think that? And how in your experience, how has that manifested?
Well, I'm also curious. Okay, for me, if you read the article, I don't know if this is on the site. I like you so much. I slept with someone else.
Yes, yes, I did read the article. And when I first saw the title, I was thinking, oh my days, what's going on? And then I read it. So that is an encouragement for my audience to go and check that article out. Because when I was reading it, I was thinking, oh my days, I relate to some of this so bad. So yeah, what were you gonna say?
Okay, that's so funny because I really like that article and I really
Mhm,
stand by it, but I never publicized it anywhere.
mhm,
It's just on the
mhm.
site.
Yeah,
But I feel like I should. I mean, now that you've read it, I'm like maybe
honestly.
so you tell me, do you think people would relate to that?
Oh, of course. When I read it and I thought this only happens to me, I could relate. I I I try to fight my feelings sometimes.
Mhm.
And we've all gone through the stages of having a crush or liking someone. And in my case, sometimes I'm thinking, no, I shouldn't like them. No, no. I mean,
Yeah.
no, no. My brain is saying that. My body and my heart is saying something else, which sounds so cliche, but
Mhm.
honestly, and there gets a point where you have to go, you know what, I'm feeling this way. I can't really control it or change it like a switch because that's not how it works. So younger me would have thought, yes, you can control who you like. Just be a bit more specific, have like a list of I don't know. Younger me would have said, yeah, of course you can control who you like. I mean, you're not just gonna like anyone. But now I know better. And as much as I'm someone that wants to have control, and when things are out of my control it makes me anxious, it makes me worried. So
Yeah.
in that sense, you know having feelings for someone is scary, but I now know that you can't necessarily control who you like, and that's not a bad thing. You just let it be. And yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure,
No,
for sure.
I think that's yeah. I mean, we all I think can relate to like liking people and then being like, well, this crush is not going anywhere and it's ruining my life and I need to
Honestly,
figure out a way path forward.
yeah.
So that and I was that started because I was talking to my friend and we were just like she was telling the story about how she's like I just need to go and
Yeah.
like sleep with somebody else because this crush is like actually like I can't focus and I was like
Hmm.
I relate to that.
Yeah. And why do you think that crushes can be so consuming? What is it about it that makes us in particular as females so so not entranced, but so I don't know the word to describe it, but what makes us so unimmune to crushes, if I put it that way? What is it about crushes?
I mean, I don't think it's only like I think sometimes people want to paint women like, oh my God, she's
Mm-hmm.
so crazy. Like she
Mm-hmm.
has a crush on me. Like, and that's just not the way that it works. Like, I
Hmm.
think for anybody, you
No.
can't choose like who you like, and
Yeah.
it will drive you to the point of complete insanity for all of us, especially human experience. I think um I guess with crushes that I feel like have I've had the most
Hmm.
and it's when it's like an unrequited situation because when
Mm.
you think about it like when we're adults, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like, okay, at some point it's like you're just gonna have like an adult conversation with someone, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like you can totally diffuse all the feelings that you had with someone, and also you're able to deduce like, is that person even like a good fit for my life? And I feel like
Yes.
as you get older, those types of questions and those types of realizations become way more powerful. Like there
Mm.
are some people like I had a crush on in my life where I like did not know them at all. Like
Yeah.
a genuine stranger.
Oh,
And
really?
like for years. And now I like literally I would like cry. I'm like, he doesn't like me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but he doesn't even know who I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can he even like know that I like him? Like I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like there's a lot of things you do when you grow up when you can kind of like diffuse those really strong emotions with like
Mm-hmm.
genuine logic and reason
Yeah.
that you won't get the crush away like totally. I think that's just time and like
Mm-hmm.
actually liking people and actually having experiences where you're connecting with people in like the
Yeah.
more genuine equal way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a huge part of a crush is someone being on a pedestal and you kind of feel like you'll never like be like them. And there's
Preach.
something so petty in high school that I just like love about that too. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know.
Honestly, yeah. No, a crush is simply that. It's someone that you have a high regard for some reason. And even
Yeah.
you who has the crush on that person, you might not even know what it is that you regard them so highly for, but you just do, and they stand out. And like you said, with time that might subside, and also asking those illogical questions, which
Yeah.
can be easy or hard to do depending on how far into a crush you are. Would you agree?
Oh my God. Yes. Like, I'll give you a funny story if you want one. You
Of
don't have to use
course,
it.
of
But
course.
oh no, when I first got to college, there was a
Hmm.
guy on also I was obsessed with improv and being on the improv team. That was like my genuine only like truest wish. And then I
Oh,
auditioned and I did not get it and I acted like so crazy and just like so disappointed, was like on the floor like weeping, which is
oh,
not appropriate for not getting into a college level improv team. Like
that just shows
not
your
at all.
passion. Yeah.
No, and I developed a crush on a guy on that improv team that was like so out of control. Like I could
Oh,
barely go to the show because
oh,
he was like, I'm gonna see him in the show. Like, what am
yeah.
I gonna laugh? Like, that's so obvious. Like, and and then he like used to run, they used to do like student comedy stand-up night, which I
Okay.
would go with my friends because I like had a few friends who were really funny and really involved in the comedy scene.
Right.
And he used to like sometimes run the ticketing like booth. Like you'd have to give him like £2 to go in. I was like, I'd feel sick all day. I'm like, I can't do this. Like I
Yes.
cannot like have like the simple you didn't even have to speak. You just have to like give someone £2. So like I was like, well, I'm gonna have to like text my friend. I can't come see them perform because I am not
Honestly.
gonna be able to make it through giving my crush £2. I was like, this is such a hilarious night. Like
Yeah.
like it was so I just it was so bad.
Yeah. No,
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
no,
that's cool.
no, I can relate to that. I think it's the proximity. If you're close,
Yeah.
not even as a relationship, not even that closeness. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about proximity, whether that's 10 steps, you're shoulder to shoulder, you're in the same class, in the
Yeah.
same building. I think it's that proximity that makes us really, really on edge and makes the crush and the effect so much higher than if we didn't see them or they weren't in our space. And I think
Yeah.
that's why you acted the way that you did. I can relate as well. I skirt, like if I see them I will skirt somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, exactly. It's actually, yeah, it's so crazy. But I also think as you grow up, like
Hmm.
now, I think there's an emphasis on like, will this person like me? And that's like
Hmm.
the only thing that matters. You're like,
Hmm.
oh my God, like,
Yeah,
do you like me? And it's
yeah.
obviously like if someone's like freaking out, you probably
Mm,
like are not gonna be the person who everyone's like gravitating toward. But
mm-hmm.
now I think that I'm a little bit older and can just understand the world and also probably have like a higher value on my own
Yeah.
like worth in a room. Not that
Mm-hmm.
anyone's better than anybody else. I just feel like you don't have to approach someone with such like, oh my God, like,
Yes,
hey,
exactly.
like
They're a
you can kind of be,
person.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you can be like, hey, what's up? And then, you might not even like them. You might be like,
exactly.
actually, this person should have a crush on me and be scared to like be around me.
Yeah, they're gonna fall too hard for me. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, that is so true. I think it's only when we have the conversations that we know if someone is for us, not for us, if we are
Yeah.
supposed to be friends more than friends. Like you said, yes, it's about having those conversations. And if we avoid having those conversations, I think we'll never know.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't need to be something I think that is taken to that level
Yeah.
anymore. And I really do feel like as we get older, I found like I will have crushes on people who I actually feel like have like taken the time to get to know me or like
Yes.
more of a um I don't know, it's just more of like a mutual thing. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you can have the tools to talk yourself down from those situations just
Yeah.
because if you've been in them enough times, you're like, I don't need to feel this way about
Yeah,
something.
honestly, it's like you're on a high and everything is so hyper sensitive,
Yeah.
or you overreact. Not necessarily overreact, because I'm not saying that, you can't react in the way that you do, but everything is hyper focused when you're on it, when you have a crush, and yes, like you said, sometimes you just gotta bring yourself down a little bit and, you know,
Yeah.
ask those questions for sure, for sure. So, on
Yeah.
that note, are there any perks or indications that a guy might like you more than a friend in your experience?
Uh, oh my God. I mean, I
It's a
I
it's something that we haven't, or I speak for myself, I haven't mastered. And I read your article, and I don't want to give too much away, but you likened it to, we've sent someone to the moon, and we have a vaccine, and we have all of this, and but how come there's no silly? And I was clicking my fingers and thinking that is so true. Sorry, but
no,
continue.
I need to reread that article because I agree with what I said there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also something like I guess like a little sneak peek for this column, something
Okay.
I'm doing. Maybe I told you about this at Oxford, but I'm doing this project where I'm going on 50 first dates. And
Wow.
it's been really illuminating into all this type of stuff, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna write about it all super transparently like on the website. But um I mean, here's what I will say. I just think you like know if someone likes you and it's not gonna be a secret and
Yeah.
it's gonna be like very overt.
Hmm.
And obviously like that comes with certain here nor there, but I don't
Hmm.
know, you just know.
Yeah.
Like one time a guy like asked to help me like move and I
Hmm.
was like, okay, like case is closed. Like
Yes.
who would help someone move? It's the worst. It is the worst thing ever on earth. No
Honestly,
one would help someone move
it's
unless
such
they
a
like
process. Hmm.
yeah,
Mm.
or they were your best friend.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. I when people, because I watch loads of YouTube videos and I listen to so many conversations about this and other things as well. And when people used to say, "Oh, you'll just know," I used to think, "What do you mean you're just gonna know?" But
Yeah.
honestly, you will. If you have those questions that, oh, this person could potentially like me, it's it's most likely true. And it's just about how you respond to that. So if you have a feeling that someone likes you, how are you going to respond to that? Do you like them back? Do you like them in the same way? Do you
Yeah.
want something more? Do you not want something more? So yes, you're going to know, because something inside of you will start saying, oh, this action suggested this. And I think the biggest killer of um, having a crush or knowing if someone likes you is overthinking it, because
Yeah.
that's when you start getting in your head about it and you actually start going beyond what's actually happening. So I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but
hell yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's like we can drive ourselves like insane, and I've done that a million times, like everybody else.
yeah.
But also, I think, and you can and will quote me on this, no one dope will give you trauma. So like cool people aren't gonna like fuck you up.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like that also means like being respectful when they like don't like you,
Yeah.
or I don't know, being upfront about what they want
Mature.
out of a relationship. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's something to think about. And
Exactly.
also, like, you really do just know, like, I feel like everyone's been in toxic relationships where you're just like, I'm walking on eggshells and I don't really know what this person like wants, and it's trying to like kind of go with the flow of something, but it's actually really not what you want. And I feel like relationships are just ways that we can get to know ourselves better. And I
Yeah.
feel like we it's like people oftentimes give so much credit to the other person, and they like don't deserve that over you like advocating for what you want, because relationships take up a lot of time, like a lot of time. Like you got
Honestly.
to be ready to like give up time to spend with that person.
Yeah.
So make it worth it, because there's a lot of other like fun shit you could do that wouldn't give you the same like emotional stress.
Yeah, exactly. So on a light-hearted note, what do you think about having a celebrity crush? Do you think it's harmless? Do you think it can be painful? Have you ever had a celebrity crush per se?
Oh, so yes. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
Um, okay. I'm trying to think. I mean, Brad Pitt in the movie Troy when I was younger, I was like, that is genuinely what like a real man is. Like that is psychotic. Like that
hmm
man is so hot.
hmm
It's out of control.
hmm
Also, okay, I was with my friends and we saw Austin Butler at a cafe in London
Wow.
while he was
Nice.
shooting the famous Elvis movie.
Wow.
And he at that restaurant, I was like, this is the hottest guy I've ever. It was like the first time I'd ever seen a guy in real life. I was like, you are the hottest person I've ever seen in my life. Like even
Wow.
guys that like I've liked and I was like, they're so like cute. Like it was like it disappeared, like flame extinguished. I was like, I only have eyes for you. You are
Wow.
straight up so attractive. It's
hmm
almost offensive. Like it's you can't
Really?
even focus.
Mm.
He's really hot. I will say
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
he like knows it. Like now he's a big movie star, but who was there first? Not me. But no. Also like a more low-key celeb crush is this guy, Austin Kevich, I think his name is, and he created this app called the Locks Club, which is
Ooh.
like a Jewish dating app, but he also like he created another really cool app, and he's just like kind of like he's really hot. And I found out last night that he's dating Camila Cabello, and I sent it to my friend. I was like, "Can you believe this? Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?" I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know him personally, but now I
hmm
never will. Like,
Yeah, no, I know he's taken now. No,
yeah.
no.
What about
That
you?
I celebrity crushes I think are normal. Yeah, I think it becomes unhealthy though if your life becomes obsessed with their life,
Yeah.
if that
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense. So I think that they're fine. Me personally, yeah, I can't really think of any right now, but yeah, I've had some, and I don't think it's necessarily their looks, but I just think that person's really cool.
Yeah.
That person's really cool. And I think that's what's been the obviously, I think as a child, every girl really liked Justin Bieber when he was younger with the quiff and everything. And in the music industry, they do really well at creating the ultimate crush or celebrity crush. So I give kudos to them for being able to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fun as well. And I mean, it's good. I don't think anyone should be embarrassed about having a celebrity crush, whoever that might be for them. Um, because there's something that they like about them, and there's nothing wrong with that for sure.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
for sure. And why not? Like life, you need that little something sometimes.
exactly. You talked about attraction and how once you saw, in your case, Austin Butler, all of your other attractions or crushes vanished.
Yes.
What do you think the key or the underlying thing is about attraction?
And that's a great tip I have for any person struggling with aggression. Go find Austin Butler and stand in front of him. And
Go
then
find
you
him.
will not feel a single thing about any person that you've ever liked.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
Um, unless that person was Austin Butler for you specifically,
Fair
then
enough.
that's gonna be a hard solve. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Um I think attraction is way more than just like looks. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
total like vibe and
Hmm.
personality. And I don't know, I think I was saying this to my friend the other day, and I realized this on my dates a little bit that I'm looking for something and I feel like
Hmm.
I'll know it when I see it. And I think
Hmm.
it everyone feels that way. It's just like kind of like a I don't know, like an aura or like a sparkle or like
Hmm.
something somebody
A good
has.
fit. A good fit.
Yeah, and I think it's just like this element that you can't really explain, but it's
Hmm.
just like there's something there. And I feel like we've all felt that way about different people in our lives. And like I think you can have that with people who, maybe aren't the best for you, or also like I don't think it cuts both. I think it cuts both ways.
Yeah, for
Because then I
sure.
think when you feel like you're in a good place and you're happy and
Hmm.
you are like living your best life, then I do feel like it attracts people who are gonna come in and like vibrate that same type of energy.
Exactly. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, attraction is definitely something that you can't really control. And yes, it's about whether you vibe with that person and
Yeah.
whether you are able to connect on something that is not necessarily based on looks or not necessarily based on just emotional. It's kind of a
Mhm.
mix of both, if that makes sense. And that mix of both can really look different for everyone. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's so true. And I think that um something I'm trying to do more of is just like handle that rejection better,
Oh,
it,
that's another
like
thing.
personally, because it's not
Mm,
like in the end, you really don't want to like be attracted to or like have that attraction on you
mm-hmm.
like by so many people. You really just like want a few, like
Yeah,
honestly.
quality.
And yeah, and like you probably you'll have like I don't know, a couple great like loves in your life. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you don't need to be or one great love or like
Mm-hmm.
however it comes
Whatever.
out for you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think I think it's really valuable to stay really true to yourself and what you actually want, because I just feel like if you're trying to be somebody that everybody likes, then that's just, then
It's
no one will end up liking you.
exactly. And sometimes you can also, there are moments where, because of rejection or for other reasons, you can kind of doubt and think, oh, am I someone's person? Could I be someone's person? You go through
Yeah.
a lot of that, but like you said, focusing on yourself, being authentic to yourself is how you will end up being with the right person or finding what you truly deserve. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, and like be your own person. Like
Hmm.
in the sense of like people are I hate all these like weird like Pinterest like be your own best friend, be your own soulmate. Like I don't know, that's a little bit like chuggy honestly, but I think that's a good the message is there. Like I think it's just important that you value like yourself and your time with yourself and what you actually like and what you actually want out of your life.
Yeah.
way more than you do how other people want to view you and slot you into their lives. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people don't take that type of ownership over their, you know, over their own life, and they should. Like, you
Yeah,
should never let somebody else completely dictate like what you want. And it shouldn't
exactly.
be the reason that you feel valuable to yourself or to other people.
I agree 100%. I embarked on my wellness journey and self-development fully when I started Ludel, and that this outlet has given me the opportunity to understand myself better, understand what it is about me that I like and that I want to work on. And in doing so, I found that I've made better friendships. I've spoken to people that have really been people that I want to engage with and stay connected with. And I don't think I would have met such people or had such experiences if I hadn't had some intention to work on myself. And this is
Yeah.
not, I'm not saying that as a person you have to fix yourself, because that's not what I
Mhm.
believe a self discovery or wellness journey is, but it's just looking internally and thinking, okay, I have this life, I am in this body, I am this person, and so I'm going to try and make the best of it. So I 100% agree. And also, when you do focus on yourself and you know your worth, you know what you deserve, I think it also makes rejection sting a lot less, because
Yeah.
then you realize that, oh, that wasn't meant to be, or that person's not for me, or that situation clearly was telling me you need to go another direction, which for me is easier said than done. But I think, as you've so rightly said, the message of focusing on yourself is very important.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not like personally religious, but I love the saying, um, God's God's protect wait, rejection is God's protection. Rejection is God's protection, or something along those lines, or just
Mm-hmm.
rejection is protection. And I feel like um now I feel like I've lived, and I'm still still obviously incredibly young, but
Honestly, we're
I
talking as if, yeah.
yeah, no, I'm sure I'll like listen back to this podcast in like 7 months and be like, I don't know anything. No, but
No,
I
that's
think
great.
now, yeah, now I have like enough understanding of that concept to know that there's a lot of things I wanted so badly in my life that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the only person who has that. Like, so many things I thought that were going to be incredible, and like I didn't get them. And instead I feel like like all those things led me to things that I actually feel like benefited from way more. And
Mm-hmm.
I think now I'm at a point where if I don't get something, or something doesn't work out the way I want, I know I just am like, okay, it's actually going to be totally fine for me
Yeah.
now. Even when I look later down the line, I'm going to be probably really grateful that something like that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And that is helps you get over rejection way quicker, I think, because you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it just like wasn't for me in the end. And I
Yes,
know it's gonna be like, I'm just gonna be really grateful that didn't happen. And I feel that
exactly.
way about a lot of stuff. I was like, I just don't know what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For sure, for sure. As an audience, as a listener right now, I want you to reflect on a moment where you thought that rejection stung and was so unfair, or you really didn't like the fact that you had that experience. But I want you to also think about how that was a blessing in disguise and what that's meant for you right now. Because in our reflection, that's when we start to see things a little bit different and have that older perspective, or that perspective from, having more experiences. So as a listener, definitely think about those moments. And I also want you to think about, who was that person that you thought was meant for you but turns out wasn't meant for you, and what did that teach you? Because that's really important. I wanted you to talk a little bit more about bod, which we mentioned before the break. What is bod, and how has it been something that you focused on and shed a bit of light on through your platform?
Yeah. So Okay, basically, like, I think so many people kind of start things based off their own needs and their own necessity, and I felt that way about this project. So, when I was in high school, I fell off a rope swing and I hit my leg, and I had to get like 40 stitches, and
Oh,
like, it left me with a big scar, and I also found out I had, like, a year later, like, this sort of autoimmune disease that, like, uh, that it basically kind of made me, so that I was, like, born without a uterus, which I know sounds really
oh,
weird, but I
wow.
basically can't have kids physically.
Oh, wow.
So those 2 events happened, like, in high school, and it really made me start, like, thinking it just, like, really changed, like, a lot about how I viewed my body,
Yeah.
um, and, obviously in high school, like, female body journey is just, like, a lot and
It's a
every
roller coaster.
yeah, it really is, and I feel like those 2 events, really changed the dynamic that I thought about myself and, like, my body, and some of them positive and some of them super negative, and
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was trying to find content and, you know, places online where people were talking about similar things, I just felt like the conversations weren't there, and also a lot of the time it was like really negative stories, and not that stories about your own body journey can't be super negative. I think that that's everyone has those, but I also think it's like a way more robust experience to like have to come to terms with, like, I don't know, acne or
Mm-hmm.
scar, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's not just a linear path.
Yeah.
um so I think ever since then, I think I had put in my mind, even if I hadn't been working on something, I was like, I just want to do something that's revolving around women's health, and I want it to give back it to people in some capacity. And then I
Incredible.
yeah, I think then that was in high school, and I didn't really do anything around that in high school, and then I went to college, and I think I just like got a lot of skills I feel like I needed to even pursue something like this. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I was in and also I think culturally our conversations around like body image and what it means to be like a woman in society, and also the access we have to materials for those type
Mm-hmm.
of things, is so completely different. Like,
Mm.
there's a million representations of things on social media now, and I
Yeah.
think there like that exploded, and now there's like a lot. It's just because of the way social media panned out. I think you can
Yeah.
connect with communities based off of what you're struggling with so
Yes.
much more than you could in like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when I was doing my master's, I basically was given a prompt on starting, like, it was like a project where you had to come up with your own publication. And I think I had just been feeling like there wasn't a space that was talking about women's health for like women our age. And I'd seen a lot of really successful companies who were aimed at women who were older, like Goop. I love Goop, but that's also tackling like problems I feel like that are not always the most relevant for women
Mm-hmm.
our age. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so glad a platform like that broke through in a lot of ways, and made that conversation relevant and made people want to invest their time into it. But also, I think there's a lot about it that for young women like us, it's not always maybe the most relatable place to talk about things we're going through.
Yeah.
Um, and so then I developed this idea for sort of, at that point, it was like a full magazine called Bod, which
Mm-hmm.
was aimed at women who were like Gen Z, like teenagers, and probably into like their earlier 30s.
Yeah.
And just talking about women's health in a really holistic, like, very, I wanted it to be super aesthetically driven, like almost, very photo forward in a way that just made it like
Comfortable.
super dynamic and
Yeah.
interesting. And
Mm.
a lot of the titles today we have for women's health magazines are all the same. It's like
Mm.
they got the same stylist for every single shoot, every single title. I'm like,
Yeah.
how does everybody have these cargo pants and this graceful top? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I just felt like the content was stale, and the package it was delivered in wasn't connecting with people in the right way. And
Mm.
I kind of felt like the conversation around health is just like way more interesting and way more dynamic than what we were being served. And it
Mm.
still also really emphasized a lot of these old, like archaic stereotypes that I just felt like we go to these outlets to learn. Like, why do we also have to like engage in our own societal oppression? Like, it doesn't
Mm.
make sense to me, and it also doesn't have to be that way. So yeah, then I basically for my dissertation wrote a business proposal for bod and really fleshed the idea out and thought a lot about it deeply. And then I finished my master's, and that's like that spring, that's when I joined this incubator business course. And I'm still figuring it out because I love bod and I think it conceptually can stand alone. And I believe that. And that's
100%.
what I ended up pitching when we did pitch day
Yeah.
to investors, because I feel like that idea is very strong and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a brand onto itself, and it doesn't have to have me attached to it to like
Mm-hmm.
I think resonate with people. So yeah, that is sort of what happened. But at one time during the course, I was also pitching the whole Sweet Big Sister Friend website, but they are really separate in my mind. But for now,
Mm.
I run bot as a column on Sweet Big Sister Friend just because that makes sense with sort of the way I've set things up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I feel like I just started coming up with ideas and stories around health that I thought would be really interesting and also like really, you know, different and
Yes.
work across a lot of platforms. So I was really lucky, and the first thing I ever did with it was a girl who went to St. Andrews. Her name is Ava. On my Instagram you can see her story, but she had struggled, I think, with a lot of the same issues that we all struggle with in society around our bodies. And then she ended up getting signed to Next Model Management, I think like a year or two ago, and as like a
Incredible.
model. And I think for her, that journey really like kind of it was just I really liked that story so much because I think you just saw someone take things that they maybe had once felt like could never be true, and then
Yeah.
ended up being their greatest strength and
Mm-hmm.
ended up being like what they were celebrated the most for.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a great story for girls to hear about,
Yes.
because I think there's so much messaging about how badly you should feel about yourself all the time that it does get loud for all of
Yes.
us.
Oh, it becomes noise, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the second story I did was my friend was like a professional ballerina, and she knew the girls who professionally danced here at the Royal like ballet, what is it called, the Royal Opera House, the one in
Yes.
Covent Garden.
Yes.
And yeah, so I just thought the journey to becoming a ballerina was so fascinating. It's like so tough, so gritty. Like those
Yes.
girls
Of
work
course.
their asses off. Like
Yeah.
it's insane. And I
Yes.
also thought that that was a sport that sometimes I don't think in is always given the most credit for being as athletic and as,
Intense.
intense as it
Yes.
is.
Mm-hmm.
And um and so they were really cool, and they let me go and shoot there in their practice studios and talk to them about the journey to achieve that type of success. And that was like honestly probably the highlight of all the pieces I've ever worked on, just because
Yeah.
it felt so special and so
Yes.
cool. And then coming up, which yeah, I feel like these past few weeks I've just been so in I started a new job.
So it is clear that we could definitely talk 4 hours and have this conversation go on for whoever knows Oh, I can't even speak English. For whoever knows how long, but I've enjoyed it. I hope you have, and I hope that my listeners have also enjoyed this really insightful conversation. We've talked about, well, we've first gotten to know Sophie a lot more, and we've gotten to know about her project. And we've also had conversations to do with things that we feel that no one goes through, but actually quite a few people go through. And we've been able to talk about crushes, which is something that is fun, but we've also gone to another end of the spectrum and talked about bod, which is serious in itself, but also has so many aspects and so many perspectives to it. And I really want to thank our guest Sophie for hopping on to this podcast episode and for being here. Do you have any last words?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It was a dream come true to be a guest on a podcast. So
Oh,
I feel very honored that you've taken yeah, just an interest in my work. It means so much. Yeah, I feel that way for anyone who would ever sit down and read anything that I did. I never take it for granted, and I feel like lucky that people would ever do that. So it's really kind of you to have me on and talk about this. And I'm so inspired by all the work you've done and all the
thank
work
you.
you'll continue to do. And it was a really fun to get to know you. The incubator. So yeah, this was so awesome. And
Yes.
I really enjoyed being here and talking about all this.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you all for listening. If you want to know a little bit more and delve into the world of Sophie, then be sure to check out her Instagram handles, which I will leave in the description of this episode. Be sure to also let me know that, remind me that you want Sophie back for another episode because I know I do. And I'm really grateful that you took time to listen to this conversation. I hope you have a great day, that you keep your head up high, stay true to yourself, and also know that, life is short. So do what you want, spend your life to the fullest and make every day count, because I know that that's what Sophie will do. And that's what I will also try to do. Until
Mhm.
next time, Ludel and Sophie.
Bye.
Bye.